The inner mirror looking within. Self-examination. It's a journey into the depths of who we are. It's about holding a mirror up to our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions. This inward exploration is crucial for growth. It allows us to understand the forces that drive us. It helps us to see ourselves more clearly, flaws and all. Imagine a garden overgrown with weeds. These weeds represent our unconscious patterns, our limiting beliefs. Self-examination is the process of tending to this garden. We identify the weeds that hinder our growth. We carefully uproot them to make space for something new. Self-awareness is an ongoing process, not a destination. It's about paying attention to our inner world with curiosity and kindness. It's about noticing our reactions, our judgments, and our habitual ways of being. This journey of self-discovery is essential for living a more conscious and fulfilling life. The ego's grip, a master puppeteer. The ego, it's a powerful force within us. It whispers stories of who we are and what we need. Often these stories are based on fear, insecurity, and the need to feel superior. The ego thrives on separation, on me versus them. Think of the ego as a puppeteer. It pulls our strings, influencing our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. It can lead us to react defensively, to judge others harshly, and to cling tightly to our beliefs. We might seek validation and approval from external sources. The ego's grip can be subtle. We may not even realize it's pulling the strings. We might believe that our thoughts and reactions are entirely our own. However, by cultivating self-awareness, we can start to see the ego's influence more clearly. We can begin to loosen its grip and step into a more authentic way of being. Facing the shadow discomfort on the path to growth. Confronting the ego is not always comfortable. It's like turning on a light in a dusty old room. We see things we'd rather not see. We become aware of our own shadows, the parts of ourselves we've tried to suppress or deny. We might feel anger, embarrassment, or shame as we uncover these hidden aspects of ourselves. We might resist what we see, wanting to turn away from the discomfort. This is a natural part of the process. It takes courage to face our shadows and acknowledge the ways in which the ego has been running the show. However, this discomfort is a sign of growth. By shining a light on our shadows, we begin to heal them. We can start to integrate these parts of ourselves and move forward with greater self-awareness and compassion. Unveiling the unknown. I didn't know. There's a profound realization that often arises on the path of self-discovery. I didn't know that I didn't know. We become aware of patterns of thinking and behaving that were once unconscious. We see how these patterns have held us back or created suffering in our lives. When we first make these realizations, it's easy to get caught up in self-judgment. We might berate ourselves for our past mistakes or for not knowing better. However, it's essential to approach this process with self-compassion. We couldn't have known what we didn't know. The important thing is that we are now aware. We have a choice to continue operating from these unconscious patterns or to make different choices. This is where true transformation begins. Ignorance is not bliss. Taking responsibility for our actions. Recognizing our unconscious patterns is a crucial step. However, it's not enough to simply acknowledge them. We must also take responsibility for the ways in which our ego-driven actions have impacted ourselves and others. It's easy to fall into the trap of using ignorance as an excuse. We might say, "I didn't know any better." While this may be true, it doesn't absolve us of the consequences of our actions. True self-awareness requires us to own our past mistakes and to make amends where possible. Taking responsibility is not about dwelling in guilt or shame. It's about acknowledging our part in creating our reality. It's about learning from our mistakes and making conscious choices going forward. Rewiring the mind, cultivating new patterns of thought. Once we've begun to identify and understand our ego-driven patterns, we can start to rewire our minds. This involves consciously choosing new thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors that are more aligned with our values and aspirations. It's like creating a new pathway in a forest. At first, it might feel unfamiliar and even a little scary. We might be tempted to fall back on our old, well-worn paths. However, with persistence and patience, the new pathway will become stronger and more defined. This process takes time and effort. There will be setbacks along the way. The key is to be kind to ourselves, to celebrate our progress, and to keep moving forward one step at a time. Breaking free, the analogy of passwords and routines. Think about the passwords we use for our devices. They protect our information and keep our digital lives secure. However, sometimes we forget our passwords and need to reset them. This can be frustrating, but it's a necessary step to regain access. Our ego-driven patterns are like old passwords. They were once useful, perhaps even necessary for our survival. However, they may no longer serve us. In fact, they may be keeping us locked out of our full potential. Similarly, consider our daily routines. We might wake up at the same time, eat the same breakfast, and commute to work using the same route. These routines provide a sense of structure and familiarity. However, they can also become limiting. By consciously changing our routines, we challenge our minds to adapt and grow. Breaking free from ego-driven patterns requires us to reset our internal passwords and shake up our routines. We need to be willing to step outside of our comfort zones and embrace new ways of thinking and being. The upward climb. Navigating challenges on the path. The journey of self-discovery is not always easy. There will be challenges and setbacks along the way. We might experience resistance from our ego, which will try to hold on to its familiar patterns. We might encounter difficult emotions like fear, anger, or sadness. These emotions can feel overwhelming at times. It's important to remember that these emotions are temporary. They are like storm clouds passing through the sky. When we encounter challenges, it's crucial to practice self-compassion. We can acknowledge our struggles without judgment. We can remind ourselves that we are on a journey of growth and that setbacks are a natural part of the process. The gift of clarity, reaping the rewards of self-mastery. The journey of self-discovery and ego work is an ongoing process. It's not a destination we arrive at overnight. However, the rewards of this inner work are profound and far-reaching. As we cultivate self-awareness, we develop a clearer understanding of ourselves. We begin to see the world and our experiences through a less distorted lens. We become less reactive and more responsive. Our relationships deepen and become more authentic. Perhaps most importantly, we experience a sense of inner peace and freedom. We are no longer at the mercy of our ego's whims and desires. We are able to make conscious choices that are aligned with our values and aspirations. We are free to live our lives from a place of authenticity, compassion, and purpose.